Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Labor's Local 663, Shelter Insurance Agents Grant Baker in Aurora, and Sean Holman in Lockwood. Also brought to you by Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, and Bank of Billings. Certainly glad you've tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. We going now to Glendale Falcons head soccer coach Jeff Rogers. And Coach Rogers, you got a big weekend here in front of you, and talk a little bit about the Falcons and this run they've made onto the Final Four.
Yeah, we're excited. This group, this is their third Final Four in their careers. So a lot of these seniors we brought to the Final Four as freshmen, basically to just show them what does a Final Four look like. Just the electricity, the excitement, the pageantry Misha puts on for these kids, and it's a great honor to represent Southwest Missouri. Last year, the COVID year, we got to host Fort Zumwalt South, who eventually won our class at Glendale, and there was no consolation game. So I think our kids have been motivated since then in their off season to get back to the Final Four in St. Louis at the soccer park. And so we're gonna leave Glendale in the morning, get up there, have a practice session, and then we've got a whistle Friday at 11 a.m. But it's a great group of kids. I'm excited for them. They've done everything they needed to do this year to get to this, and so I'm excited to see what they do.
Well, as you look at your last the 6-7 games you've won in a row, you've had 5 of those were shutouts. Then you had the back-to-back 3-2 wins in the district championship over Springfield Catholic, and then the quarterfinals over Neosho. What do you feel like your team is doing really well right now as you head into the Final Four?
Well, this group, I was looking at our statistics. They have over 70 plus more goals this year than they had last year. So this group knows how to put balls in the back of the net. And we don't really ride one horse when it comes to scoring. We've got multiple kids all over the field that are scoring. A good example is Caden Meyer is one of our defenders on our back line, and he's got, I'm guessing, 17 goals this year. And so that's phenomenal for a defender to come forward on restarts and dead balls and score. And so we have threats all over the field. So this group is really good at scoring. We're really deep this year. And so a lot of our practices, you might have a red team versus a white team, and sometimes it's hard to tell who the starting group is. I mean, we're that competitive. And so defensively, I mean, we gave up those 2 goals to Catholic in 40 seconds. And so there's some things that we're going to have to do a little bit better at the Final Four. But overall, this group, we played 24 games this year, and normally you can play 25. So we had a full roster or full schedule of games. So they're tested. They've played some great teams. We've seen some great offenses this year and some great defenses. So we keep telling the kids we are who we are. So we're just going to go to St. Louis and enjoy the weekend. One of the things I've been pushing with them this week is we know our season's going to end on Saturday. So now it's just a matter of how we finish. And so that pressure of knowing this is my last game, we know when our last game is going to be. It's going to be on Saturday. And so that pressure's gone. Now it's just a matter of performing.
Going into your 25-3, you take on a Ladue team that's 22-6 and 1. You got one common opponent. That's I believe Pembroke Hill, and very similar scores. Both, Pembroke Hill defeated both of you. What do you look back on? Are you able to look back at some film? Are you getting ideas from coach scouting reports, so to speak? How do you prepare for a team you've not seen?
It's a great question, and I think it's one of the things that happens to a lot of Final Four teams. You're just stepping onto a field. You might hear that a certain player's fast, or you might hear certain things about your opponent. But once that whistle blows and you go live, you're going to experience it firsthand. So we have been looking at some film. We're talking to some coaches for tendencies and things. I think one of the things that you run into when you look at a Ladue, and the level of competition that they play up there in St. Louis, they're going to get that almost every night. And they're playing high caliber teams and they all know each other. So if we get into a match with Springfield Catholic or a Kickapoo or Nixa, our kids know all the players on the other side of the ball. And so tendencies and things like that. So sometimes when you play a team you don't know anything about, you can talk to your kids about certain things and you can watch film, but a lot of it's just going to have to be adjustment and figuring things out. And hopefully you're not figuring it out too late, because that's what can happen at this level, as a team can take advantage one way or the other. But I think our kids are prepared. They're excited, and so we'll get into that match, and it'll be 80 minutes or more, and we'll see what we can do.
And again, we're visiting with Jeff Rogers, head coach of the Glendale Falcon soccer program, as they prepare to head to the Final Four. And Coach Rogers, long time. You've been doing this a long time. You've had a lot of milestones. What, as you look back, what part of the game has changed since you began?
Wow. I've heard from a lot of my former players this week, just reaching out saying, Coach, good luck, pulling for the kids. Had one of my goalkeepers from the 1990 team come out and watch. He was in town, watched our quarterfinal game, and he was remarking after the game, he's like, Coach, the speed of play, the talent that we see out there on the field. And, back then you could get 15 shutouts a year, and you could get a kid scoring 30 plus goals a year. Just the level of competition that these kids are playing. And if you look at Southwest Missouri, we have a lot to be proud of with the level of players and programs that are producing great results statewide. When we started like in 90, I think that 91 team made a Final Four. And I think one of the little things out of St. Louis, they would say to me, where's Springfield at? And so it was a way of, where are you all from? But now I think you're seeing some competitive programs and players, not necessarily from St. Louis or Kansas City, but we're producing some pretty good talent here as well.
Coach Rogers, if the 2021 Coach Rogers could go back in time to that 1990 Coach Rogers, what advice would you give yourself?
I think early in my career, you can kind of focus on wins and losses. I've kind of seasoned through the years of being seasoned and extremely blessed to make a Final Four. Every coach, you have those years where you have a special group and you think this could be the group, and it's so hard to get there. So as we travel up for this Final Four, and probably the last couple that we've been to, if we're not fortunate enough to play for a championship, then on that Saturday, I'm kind of saying we're going to try to play every kid on our roster to let them experience, and they can walk away and say, I played in a Final Four. That 1990 coach was probably there saying, no, we got to try to win this game. And you have kids sitting the bench that never had that experience. And so now for me, I think if you asked a lot of our players last year who was in the Final Four in their class, they might get the team that beat them, but they might not know who the other two are. And so for me, the takeaway is going to be just the memories that they're creating with each other. And then hopefully they can say, you know what, I played in a Final Four. I have a former player come out yesterday and brought the kids a treat. And he talked to them about, this happens so quickly, but you will cherish this and you will remember this the rest of your life. And that's one of the things I'm proud of about our program, is that just the tradition. And hopefully these kids 20, 30 years from now will be talking about that weekend in St. Louis.
Friday, 11 a.m. in Fenton.
Yes, sir.
What are your plans between now and then? When are you guys heading up, and how you guys going to get ready, and what's going to happen?
So we actually got the kids out of school a little bit early today, and we had a scrimmage, a red team versus white team, and a team lunch and some film study. We've got a team dinner tonight, and we're leaving first thing in the morning. We'll get a training session there at the soccer park tomorrow afternoon, and then just check the kids in the hotel. And then, I think one of the first things, we walk our kids through every situation. There is a lot of pageantry, I guess you could say, with a Final Four. But if you're warming up and getting ready to play, and then all of a sudden you've got to walk out, and then they're going to announce every kid on the roster for both teams, that could be 20 minutes in the cold. And so we're just trying to prepare our kids for this is what to expect. But we're excited just pulling up in the parking lot in Fenton. You're going to hear the screaming and the yelling and the cheering coming from all those fields. And for our kids to get to experience that for the first time, and then our seasoned kids to experience it again, I'm excited for them. I know what it's about, and some of them have been there. But at the end of the day, we have to play 2 soccer games. But again, I want them to walk away Saturday afternoon, especially our seniors, to know that they were loved, and they had a great career, and we're proud of them. And so we're excited to get on I-44 and head that way.
You bet. Coach Rogers, as always, thank you so much for being generous with your time. And for those of you that don't know, that is not his office. That is his garage.
It is.
And
yeah. So my family did this for me a few years ago, just took all my memorabilia and put it up on a wall for me. So it's 30 years of great memories.
You bet. Well, Coach, congratulations on getting the Final Four. Go bring home the biggest trophy, and we'll visit again maybe next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the coverage.
Hey, you bet. Jeff Rogers here on the Missouri Sports Network, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here.